What's up, everyone? My name's PlatinumHowler, coach of your Coquitlam Red Gyarados, and today I'm bringing you my Week 5 match of the PCL D-League versus Pokeclips, aka Love, and his Atlanta Aerodactyls. You can see his team over on the right side of the screen, and his 2 Z users are Cryogonal and Thundurus Incarnate. So this man was blessed with the first overall pick in the draft, and he certainly made the most of it, scooping up that abomination that you see listed first over on the right side, that being Dialga. What do I even do against a Dialga, man? Like, I never thought that I would ever see the day that I would be prepping to battle against a Dialga. Like, I don't even know what to do against this thing, man. The typing is incredible, its coverage, its bulk, it's just super annoying. It's hit so hard and it just won't die. I think that Dialga, man, has got me really sketched out, and I think this team is really awkward, this build as a result. But it's gonna try and put in work as always. Leading off with our Coco once again. This is quite an offensive Coco, but it's also got an element of stall breaking to it, because one thing that I need to be able to do for my win condition to come through in the end is weaken the Sylveon. So I have a lot of special attack investment to hopefully do as much damage to the Sylveon as possible. I can Nature's Madness it down if it turns out to be really bulky on the special side. Nature's Madness is also for the Dialga. That can take 50% off, and then I should be able to pick it off a lot easier with other things on my team later in the game. But we have the Taunt here, so that specifically for the Sylveon, so that it can't Wish stall in front of me. So if it switches in to take a hit, to take a Thunderbolt or a Nature's Madness, then I can taunt it, prevent it from healing itself, weaken it to the point where it should be able to die to said win condition that I will get to. You're probably thinking, oh, Hitmonlee, Electric Seed, that's your win condition, right? No, actually. This Hitmonlee is actually quite bulky on the special side, with the Assault Vest and max HP investment. Coco can switch into Thundurus one time, but if he can have the Sludge Wave. I do expect him to have the Sludge Wave to be able to hit my Coco, and that is not doing anything to this Hitmonlee. That is doing about 25% most. So I can potentially switch my Coco in, and Thunderbolt should be more than enough to KO the Thundurus after a round of rocks damage. Thankfully, because the Thundurus is off the ground, it does not receive the it doesn't receive the damage boost from electric terrain for his electric type attacks. This can also take a hit or two from Dialga. While it doesn't enjoy taking hits, it doesn't chew hits. I mean, really, what does chew hits from Dialga? I can at least use my other team members to use as pivots so that Hitmonlee doesn't take the most damage. Like, I can go into Coco to take a dragon type attack, be immune to it, and then pivot out into the Hitmonlee, which can take any non-stab hits fairly easily, and hopefully it should be able to outspeed and be enough to KO with Reckless Boosted High Jump Kick. I have enough attack investment to guarantee Oko a max HP Dialga. I have the Mach Punch to do about 45 to 50% to the Mega Lopunny. Poison Jab's doing about 40 to 45% against a standard defensive Sylveon set. And this is also going to be our Rapid Spinner in case hazards start to get out of hand. I would like to keep rocks off the field if possible for said win condition in the back. Next up, we have our Heatran. This is kind of a odd Heatran set, honestly. I am building this to more than likely be a designated Stealth Rocks lead. So I wanted this slot to be Tyrantrum because it has better defenses, like it has better physical defense than Heatran does. But if I was designing this to be a lead, I didn't want to sash it. I wanted to have a Rocky Helmet user for the Lopunny that I could so I could pivot into normal type moves, get some chip damage off, and then bait him to go for a high jump kick, and I have the protect there, and if he crashes into it, then he loses 50% of his health, and he should be in range to die from my Hitmonlee. But the reason I decided to go Heatran in the end is if I were to lead this, and he leads with Dialga, I force him to go for the Earth Power to knock me out, rather than a Dragon type move or a Steel type move. Both of his stabs, they would both be super effective against Tyrantrum, and I would lose so much from that exchange, I feel like. So if I'm able to force him to go for Earth Power in that scenario, then I can go into my Hitmonlee to take a hit, or I can go into my Serena, which you will see is max physically or specially defensive. Excuse me. We have Hidden Power Ice for the Gliscor, if that's going to be a Stealth Rocks lead for him as well. I'll go for Stealth Rocks, he'll go for Stealth Rocks, and then Uninvested Earthquake does not knock me out. So I can hit him with a Hidden Power Ice the turn after I set up my rocks, if he doesn't decide to set up his own rocks, that is. And I originally had Magma Storm as my other attacking move, but I decided that I needed something more to damage the Incineroar, because I don't have very much at all to switch into Incineroar, seeing as I haven't brought my Milotic this week. Next up, we have our Mega Latios. It was able to put in quite a bit of work in the last game with the Dragon Dance set, but this time we are bringing a special attacking Calm Mind set with a lot of HP investment rather than speed investment. Some Calm Mind boosts, and in its special defense, it should be able to take quite a number of hits from the likes of Sylveon, and even Dialga it can Calm Mind in front of. If it gets to +1, it should live a modest Draco Meteor from full HP. You know, if that's kind of a risky game, but if I get a Calm Mind up, he goes for Draco Meteor, drops his special attack. I can Roost up and take another Draco Meteor, and then Roost up, and I should be able to 1v1 the Dialga that way. But if he has Dragon Pulse, I will for sure never be 1v1ing the Dialga, so I'll have to be careful about that. At that point, I'll probably just have to cut my losses and get some damage off against him with Dragon Pulse. I haven't really touched on these speed investments for my Mons here. This Latios, the 20, this should have enough speed to, it should outspeed a Dialga that's speed creeping timid max speed Heatran. So again, I'm kind of playing a little bit of a risky game with the Dialga because I'm not guaranteed to outspeed it. And this Hitmonlee only has enough speed to outspeed a Dialga that's creeping max speed modest Heatran. And then the Coco, as you probably could have guessed, just has enough speed to outspeed the Thundurus Incarnate. Heatran just has leftover EVs thrown into speed in case he's speed creeping no speed Heatran with something. But yeah, pretty standard Mega Latios set. It should be able to do a good amount of work in this game. Next up, we have our Serena. Serena, man, it's kind of a weird set, but this is my best answer to Dialga. Especially defensive Serena still takes an absolute crap ton from a Dialga with Fire Blast. Remains to be seen whether or not he will actually pack Fire Blast on his moveset, because I would think that he will more than likely have either like Thunderbolt or Thunder for my Milotic. That is obviously a better special wall in general, able to recover off HP, you know, pretty easily, and it has better overall bulk on the special side than Serena. But one thing that Serena can do that Melodic can't do is act as a cleric, actually do damage to the Dialga, and actually be able to switch into the Shaman as well. That pretty much covers it for the Serena, and last but not least, we have the win condition that I was talking about earlier. This is Excelgor, outspeeds his entire team, including the Megalopony, and hits every single Mon on his team for super effective damage, except for the Garbodor. I hope to be able to use this Mon as a Mon that just comes in late in the game and does damage to everything that he has left and gets a whole bunch of kills against Mons that are weakened and die to my super effective coverage. Should be able to take most hits from him even after a round of rocks. Preferably, I wouldn't like to take rocks at all. If we manage to avoid taking rocks, then we will not be killed by 2 fake outs from a Jolly Megalopony. Sludge Bomb is only doing around 40-45% to the to a standard physically defensive Sylveon. That's why I mentioned that I need to prioritize weakening that thing for my Excelgor. And this game could very well come down to whether or not I hit a Focus Blast, which is ironic because Love already has a win under his belt thanks to his opponent missing a Focus Blast at the worst possible time. So hopefully I'm not jinxing myself with that right there, but yeah, I'm very well aware that I am playing with fire here. Anyways, that is going to be the team this week. I really don't think it's that good. I'm gonna be totally honest, but I mean, I'm playing against a Dialga like here. Like, what am I supposed to do, right? But yeah, we'll see you right back with the battle. Here we are back with the battle, and looking at the team that Love decided to bring, I'm actually feeling quite a bit better about my matchup. The first thing that I noticed was that Sylveon is not here, which is great. It's one of the things that, one of those bulky mons that I didn't have great ways of hitting, and I needed to be able to weaken that thing for a late game Excelgor sweep. Didn't have great ways of switching into it either, so I'm glad not to see it. And then I also don't see the Megalopony, which is, I mean, I don't know if I should be surprised or not to not see it, because I'm pretty sure this being his 5th game, he's actually only brought it to 2 out of his 5 games so far, which is not great for a Mon that he picked with his 2nd draft pick. 2 Mons that I did not enjoy switching into that I am very happy not to see. We also do not see the Cryogonal, so that means that his hazard removal options are likely limited to just Defog, Gliscor. He may have Defog on the Thundurus as well, but I highly doubt that. I would imagine that to be more of a all-out offensive / setup variant. Then we don't see the only Mon on his roster that doesn't get hit super effectively by my Excelgor, that being the Garbodor. And we also don't see the Slowking on his side, which is another potential fighting resist that he had on his team. But since the Sylveon, the Garbodor, and the Slowking all didn't come, his only real switch in to the Hitmonlee is going to be his Gliscor. So if that goes down early enough in the game, Hitmonlee is about to go in against this man. As we get started now, feast your eyes on the most lovely Citra background ever created. This is a very interesting background indeed, but very fitting of our opponent, whose name is Love, you know, so... anyways, we have our Heatran, and he leads Gliscor, but he goes for the U-turn, predicting my Latios to come in, rather than deciding to set rocks, so he might actually have the Stealth Rocks on the Registeel instead. and the Incineroar is going to be the switch in. So this is an amazing turn for me. I get a free Rocky Helmet chip on the Glitch score. I get my Stealth Rocks up for free, and this Incineroar comes in, so I am presumably going to be able to get some valuable chip damage off against him with an Earth Power on this turn. He actually is going to outspeed me and go for the Earthquake, but because of all of my physical defense investment, I'm going to be able to take that relatively well. It certainly helps that he doesn't get a stab boost from that Earthquake, which Gliscor would have. And I'm going to be able to get a solid 60% damage off against the Incineroar, which indicates to me that he is not an Assault Vest set. So I'm not really too sure what to think of what item he might have on there. It might be a 50% berry, and I was just out of range of putting him into the below 25% where he could eat the berry and go back up above 75%. But anyways, I go for the Protect to scout if he's going to go for Earthquake again, because I might be able to switch in Latios if he actually turns out to be Scarfed. But the Gliscor comes in and is going to defog my rocks away, as the Rocky Helmet chip and the Stealth Rocks damage combined put him in range to die from the Hidden Power Ice, which was phenomenal. These first couple turns, these first 5 turns with my designated Heatran lead could not have gone any better. I get very valuable damage on this Incineroar. The Gliscor goes down. The only thing that I would like to have happened is the rocks stay up, but I mean, I guess I can't get all, I gotta be satisfied with that exchange, even if he did manage to get rid of my rocks. It means that Thundurus might be a bit more of a problem later on in the game, but as his Incineroar comes in after the Thundurus KOs me with Volt Switch, I go into Coco and bait him to go for an Earthquake, because I'm still thinking that there's a chance this Incineroar could be Scarfed. So instead, I catch him on the double switch into the Shaman, which is a good matchup for me here. So I'm going to be able to go for a Calm Mind as he gets a Toxic off against me. He actually does outspeed me with his Shaman, so that shows that he has quite a significant amount of speed investment on this set. But on this turn, I really thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to predict a switch on his end into the Registeel, because I didn't want him to be able to Toxic Stall me and then get rocks up for free as I had to switch out and then be forced to Rapid Spin or whatever, because if I got Hitmonlee in against the Registeel, I wanted to be able to click High Jump Kick and do a lot of damage to whatever he wanted to switch in. So I didn't want him to get Registeel in so easily and then me be forced to Rapid Spin the rocks away. But instead, I'm glad that I decided to stay in and go for a Dragon Pulse, because he actually sacked his Incineroar on that turn, which is relieving to me because, again, don't have the best of switch-ins to that thing. So I'm glad that Incineroar wasn't actually able to put in all that much work. But the Dialga comes in, and I know that he has to go for a Dragon-type move with a +1/+1 Latios staring him down. So I catch him on that, pivot into my Coco, which is immune, of course, and then U-turn out into my Hitmonlee here as he goes into Registeel. And the fact that he switched out his Dialga indicates to me that he is most definitely a Choice variant, most likely Choice Scarf. He did bring a Choice Scarf Dialga to his match 2 weeks ago and got 6 kills with it, so I figured that he would want to try that out again and see if he could be just as lucky. But either way, this Shaman does not appreciate High Jump Kick from my Hitmonlee whatsoever. 2 Reckless Boosted High Jump Kicks is going to be able to knock out the Shaman. I did risk a miss on that turn. I could have gone for Poison Jab, which might have been able to knock it out, but Reckless Boosted High Jump Kick actually does more damage than super effective Poison Jab anyway, so I wanted to ensure the KO, risk the miss there. I knew I could take a hit with my Assault Vest. But now the Dialga is going to come in, and I have to switch out my Hitmonlee because he did get the -2 Spadef drop on the Seed Flare. So I am switching into my Serena this time in case he wanted to you know, go for a flash cannon or something, or predict my Coco to come in, because I switched it Coco in the first time against this Dialga. But he does just go for the Draco Meteor again, and it does so much damage to my max specially defensive Serena. But I am able to heal basically all of that damage off with the Synthesis as he switches out into his Registeel. And now I can hit this thing up with a low kick, as I'm betting he's going to go for either a Toxic or set up his rocks against me. This low kick, even with no attack investment, is looking like a clean 3-hit KO against this Registeel, which is very nice. And of course, I have prepared my Serena to be able to absorb some toxic poisons from anything he might want to poison me with, like his Shaman or this Registeel, for example. I am packing the Aromatherapy, so because he toxics me on this turn, I'm going to be able to go for the Aromatherapy to cure the toxic on not only my Serena, but also cure the toxic on my Latios in the back. So waiting one turn to go for the Aromatherapy there was a good move, as I'm able to get 2-for-1 poisons cured, rather than just, you know, have to go for like cure the Latios and then all my Serena gets poisoned and I'm going to have to cure my Serena. But he does set up his rocks, so that could potentially be a problem later in the game, because my Hitmonlee might be forced to Rapid Spin. But now that I am basically at full health and not poisoned, I can go for a low kick to bring this thing even lower, and he's going to miss the Toxic against me this time, so that saves me another turn of having to go for Aromatherapy to cure my Toxic, and I can just knock him out with the third low kick. And now we have a 5-2 advantage, as he is going to bring in the Thundurus, and I need some chip damage on this Thundurus to be able to knock it out with my Coco in the back. So I'm actually going to switch in my Excelgor here, because I can outspeed him and hit him with a Hidden Power Ice to bring him in range for my Tapu Koko's Thunderbolt. I no longer need this Excelgor to be a win condition for me, because I don't have enough chip damage on the Thundurus, because I wasn't able to keep rocks up, and his Dialga appears to be scarfed more than likely, so there's no point in really preserving my Excelgor to damage that Dialga in the back. So instead I just bring it in and get some and weaken this Thundurus for my Tapu Koko, and he is going to leave this Thundurus in to go down to a Thunderbolt, and now all that he has left is Dialga, and I am going to make sure that I can preserve a 4-0 win right here by pivoting into my Serena. If he is scarfed as I suspect him to be, he's going to be locked into one move for the rest of the game, so he's not going to go for an Earth Power here. In fact, he's going to go for a Flash Cannon, which does a decent amount of damage to my Serena. I could theoretically stay in here and stall him out with some Synthesis and try to knock him out with a couple of low kicks, but instead I'm just going to go for a U-turn immediately and go into my Hitmonlee, click High Jump Kick, and hopefully hit and be able to knock out the Dialga to secure the 4-0 win. Even if I do miss the High Jump Kick, because he is locked into Flash Cannon, I mean more than likely locked into Flash Cannon, I haven't really confirmed that he's actually scarfed, but he's been playing it like it is. I would have my Latios in the back to 1v1 a Dialga that's locked into Flash Cannon. So thankfully, though, I do connect with the High Jump Kick, and I'm able to knock out his Dialga, and we secure the massive 4-0 win against Pokeclips, aka Love, and his Atlanta Aerodactyls. GG, my friend, but you really got to get that logo fixed for you, man. That's a really unfortunate typo. This was just one of those games that I felt like everything went my way. Everything went perfectly. Beginning with the first few turns with Heatran in the beginning of the game, couldn't have asked for them to have gone any better. I know that I didn't keep my rocks up And, you know, as you can see, the Thundurus there was the only mon on his team that was able to get kills against me. And it might have not been as big of an issue if I was able to keep my rocks up, but knocking out his only switch in to my Hitmonlee was really, really, really good for me. He had literally had nothing to take on my Hitmonlee, especially if I was able to get it in safely against his Registeel of all things. And I also just feel that the mons that he decided to bring to this matchup really worked in my favor. Not seeing the Sylveon, the Garbodor, or the Slowking just made life really easy on Hitmonlee, and it was totally free to click high jump kick once that Gliscor was down for the count. Not seeing mons like the Sylveon and the Megalopony that I would have had a hell of a time trying to switch into really allowed me to stay on the front foot for the entirety of the match and dictate how the match was going to play out. There are some matches that end with 4-0 scores that are actually a lot closer than they would appear on paper. There are some of those matches can be really long, tough, and grinded out positioning battles. And then eventually one mon just comes in and cleans and something like that. But this was not one of those games. This was honestly quite a lopsided 4-0 game. This was a decisive 4-0 win for me, as I was in control from the very beginning of this match. And this is a very good result for us, moving back above the 500 mark, getting a nice differential win after taking a unfortunate loss to another divisional rival last week. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for future PCL D-League uploads. Next week, we will be taking on Zucifer and his Detroit Magnetons, and we will be trying to take over first place in our conference if we can pull out a win against the Detroit Magnetons next week. So make sure you tune in for that one. We'll see you next time.